Hey, how's it, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today, I just want to talk about our very own natural satellite, the moon. So, guys, I didn't even know that there was an argument about the moon until I came to YouTube, right? And I was enlightened by the flat earth community. And then I started taking photos. But I didn't really care about the finer details until I started, actually making these observations, noticing what is going on. I mean, sure, at school you were taught the phases of the moon, you were taught why they are phases of the moon, but you didn't really care about the details. But now that I have the details, I have discovered the details for myself. And not only the measurements, sure, I didn't measure the moon for myself, which is probably what flat earthers expect from me. But because I see what the moon is doing from my perspective on this rotating planet, I can tell you that I can trust that what the scientists are telling me about the measurements of the moon is true. One of the things I realized about flat earthers is that they don't really understand or comprehend or grasp the meanings of words. And I think that's why most of the time they get confused. For example, the moon is in Earth's atmosphere. Didn't that one drive the flat earthers crazy, like out of their mind, straitjacket crazy? And because flat earthers don't understand the meanings of words, or they don't look at context at what the scientists are talking about, they just fly off the handle. They see some tabloid fantastical headline and they just run with it. But actually what happened there was the scientists actually discovered the extent of our atmosphere. It splashes way past the moon. And that is because of the solar wind coming from the sun. That's what does that to our atmosphere. The moon didn't come closer to Earth, neither did our atmosphere just grow. No, we built on the knowledge that came from the people before us. So that is how science works. You see, in science, or in the scientific method, we are allowed to change our understanding, alter our understanding, or discard theories and information that don't work for the ones that do. We are allowed to do that. But it doesn't seem that flerfs or globe deniers are allowed to do that. But what they do want is a double standard. They want to be able to make all their assertions. They don't make the actual observations. They talk a lot, but they don't want us to question their conclusions. Neither do they want to accept our conclusions. So what actually rejuvenated my enthusiasm in all of this is watching Jut Monk the Drunk Monkey's channel. On there, I watched him and the sarcastic barman take down Nathan Roberts. Now, you guys remember Nathan Roberts, right? He was the one who tore the children's science book inside the shop. He filmed it and he put it on the internet. Now, this is the same guy who tried to look at the moon with his cell phone, the same as I am doing. And he says, well, the moon actually debunks the shape of the Earth. So, as you guys know, I'm taking this observational research very seriously. And sometime early this year, I made the observation, which I have in a previous video. I will link it in the description and put a timestamp so you can go directly to that part, where I filmed the moon and Venus seemingly going down towards the horizon at the same speed. But that is not what's happening in reality, because the moon's velocity is 1.022 kilometers per second and Venus's velocity is 35 kilometers per second. So how can it look like they are going down towards the horizon at the same speed? Because, flat earthers and globe deniers, it's because the earth is rotating away from these objects at that speed. So just to give a little bit of perspective to flerfs, the earth is traveling at about 30 kilometers per second. So in its orbit around the sun, that's how fast it is traveling. And the moon is orbiting the earth at 3,683 kilometers per hour. But it has a velocity of 1.022 kilometers per second. Okay? So it's traveling very fast, and how far in its orbit it is traveling is 1.022 kilometers per second. Okay? So as it is orbiting the earth, from my observations, I can see that it sort of makes a spiral motion down towards the south and then back up towards the north and back down towards the south, and so it goes. And that's why I will never see it in the same spot like maybe a month apart. Firstly, the time it takes the moon to go around the earth one time is about 29 days. And that's why when we look at the moon, try to do it for yourself. I have done it. For about 14 days, you see the moon progressing towards the west. It rises later and later and sets later and later. And then the following 14 days, it spends the time regressing back towards the east. But it's not doing that in real life. In real life, it's just orbiting the earth. But because of the way the earth rotates and the position of the moon in its orbit around the earth, we see it doing this. And is periodic the right word? It doesn't fail to do this. Take any month, find out when the new moon is, and start watching it. You will see that the new moon starts in the west and it regresses back towards the east until it's full moon. And then it rises in the east at full moon, right? And sets in the west. And then it starts going back towards the west as it's waning. So it doesn't mean because we don't see the whole of the moon all the time that it is not what they tell us or what's written in the textbooks. No, just go out and do these observations for yourself. And don't just do it like one night you point at the moon and say, oh guys, the moon is see-through. Because you cannot see the whole of the moon, because of the way the sun's light is shining on it, because of where it is in its orbit around the earth. So guys, the moon is absolutely a real object in our skies. And flat earthers need to answer another question. Why does the moon also rise and set? You know, supposedly the sun and the moon and the stars are supposed to be all above the earth and nothing is supposed to set. So why is there a setting of anything if the earth is stationary? Well, the answer is that the earth is rotating on its own axis. There is no other better explanation. So what else can I say about the moon? It is tidally locked to the earth, and we see basically one face of it. But depending on what phase it is, And depending on where you are on the earth, you can see a little bit more or a little bit less. But that doesn't mean that the moon does not do a rotation. It does. It takes about the same amount of time for the moon to do one rotation as it does to go one time around the earth. So guys, if you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I understand that this video was very long, but I couldn't help it because of all the observations I've made. Cramming more than 20 months into just an 11.5-minute video is no mean feat. I just hope that a flat earther can find it and appreciate the effort I've put into my observations, into my research, and maybe understand why I'm coming to the conclusions that I have come to. So thank you for watching. Please comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll catch you in the next video. Please stay safe. Bye.